In this video, I'll show you how to save learner input to an LMS and retrieve it later. Here's how the finished product will function. When I enter text and click Save, it tells me that the data has been saved. If I change the text, the Save button appears again. My text returns when I refresh the page. I've prepared everything we'll need for this activity, but there are a couple things I did that you might not notice. First, I removed the text box's background and outline. I separated the question and response using the line tool. That, I thought, gave it a more modern appearance. I added a scroller to the text box in case the student's response is lengthy. I added hint text to let the student know that there is a text box where they can type. I set Show Focus Ring to false on the question text and the word saved, so students don't see it if they aren't using a screen reader. I've also organized the cast list objects for a screen reader. Screen readers always skip shapes, even if they have text on them. The screen reader will read the question, then focus on the text box. After that, because the word saved starts hidden, it will focus on the Save button next rather than the word saved. When the Save button disappears, I'll use actions to direct the screen reader's focus. Alright, let's program this. First, from the Page menu, I'll select the On-Page Load control. I try to put this on the canvas first so it runs immediately when the page loads, but I'll program it later. Following that, I'll select the Save button and drag the Save button on-click control to the canvas. From this control, Smart Builder will send the text box's content to the LMS. Go to Advanced, then SCORM, and find the Set Interaction ID block. There's a similar block with a description, and you can use that block if your LMS supports the description field. Note that both blocks require SCORM 2004, which is now supported by the majority of LMSs. With this block, let's first discuss the ID. The ID is the name of the container where the LMS will store the data. For the ID, you can use any numbers, letters, or underscores. I recommend making the ID something unique to the lesson, though. Here, I'll use level_up_simple journal recall. Next, the response is the information you want to be stored in the container. Because we're storing what the student writes, I'll remove the literal block, select the text box, and get the learner input.text block. Purple blocks represent the data that an object or variable holds. They are also used for math functions. So this block takes the text from the learner input text box. The result does not need to be changed. The result is used to track whether a quiz answer is correct or incorrect. Alright, this block is set up. Now, let's tell the learner that their information has been saved. To do this, I'll select the Save button and get the Hide block to make it disappear. Green blocks show change to an object, like hide it, show it, change its value, change its color, and so forth. I also need to select the word saved from the cast list and get the Show block to make the word saved appear. The last thing in this control block is to focus the screen reader on the word saved. We just set the Save button to go away, so the screen reader doesn't know what to do. To focus on the word saved, go to the Page menu and get the Focus On block. This block is gold colored. Gold blocks are for page level or lesson level actions. Select the word saved from the cast list again and get the teal object block. A teal block represents the object itself. This combination tells the screen reader to focus on this object. And here's a quick tip to avoid frustration. Smart Builder executes code so quickly that the focus on action often happens before the object finishes showing, which causes an error. I like to put a wait block from the control menu between showing an object and focusing on it, and I'll set it to half a second. Now the object will be there when the focus event happens. We've used a few dark blue blocks or controls to this point. These tell the code when or how to execute. Now it's time to finish the on-page load control. SCORM doesn't save the last known state of text boxes, radio buttons, or checkboxes. So when the activity loads, the first thing we want it to do is put the text the student typed back in the text box. We've already sent the text to be saved. Now we're going to get it back. To do this, I'll select the text box and get the Set Learner Input text block and put it in. We don't want to set the text box to a certain piece of text, so I'll remove the literal block. I'll replace it with the Get Interaction Response ID block from the Advanced SCORM menu. I'll copy the ID from the Save control and paste it into the On-Page Load control for the ID. This pink block is now set up to ask the LMS to hand over the information in the container labeled level_up_simple journal recall. If the LMS finds a container with that name, it returns the contents to Smart Builder. It will return nothing if it can't find a container with that name. The green block then puts whatever information the LMS returns in the text box. That's all we need on page load. So what if the student edits the text in the text box? We probably want Smart Builder to show the Save button again, right? To do this, I'll select the text box and get the On-Value Change control. If the contents of the text box change, the code in this control will run. Next, I'll select the word Saved from the cast list and get the Hide block. Then I'll select the Save button and get the Show block. Now the student can click Save again. This time, though, we won't set the screen reader focus like we did previously, because if the Save button reappears, it's because the student is changing the text. When they move forward again, it will focus on the Save button since it's the next visible thing in the cast list. And that's about it for a simple journaling activity with SCORM Recall. To export this for an LMS, click on the globe in the toolbar, give the package a name and a save location, check the top checkbox, and click Finish. Smart Builder will create the zip package and save it where you specified. From there, you can load it to your LMS.